everybody. I'd like to take a few minutes to go over the basic function and operation of the Hamilton G5 ventilator. First, I'd like to go over the monitor and the display. On the right hand section, as you can see right here, these are the set ventilator parameters. On the left hand side, these are the measured ventilator parameters. And if you'll see down here in this box in the lower left hand corner, there's more information that you can get, and there's an up arrow and a down arrow, and you can just scroll through to find what you might be looking for. Okay. And then in the middle of the screen, we've got our waveforms, we've got our pressure and our flow waveforms, and then we've got our flow volume loops and pressure volume loops. Now, when you're looking at the set ventilator parameters, these are your set parameters, but in the upper right hand section, that is where you will see your mode of ventilation. Now, each ventilator calls modes something different. So we've attached to each ventilator a reference guide that tells you what the modes mean using the Servo U and the Hamilton G5. So for instance, SIMV PRVC on the Servo is called APV SIMV on the G5. Pressure control on the Servo is called PCMV on the G5. So if you ever have a question or wonder what mode it is and you're used to using the Servo terminology, this will be attached to the ventilator, and all you have to do is just pick it up and look at it. Alright. So now I wanted to go over our bottom display here. So the icon, the button with the icon of the lungs on it, that is for manual or extra breath that you want to give. Instead of disconnecting the patient from the ventilator and bagging them, you can give them extra breath by pressing this. And then the button with the up arrow and O2 is where you can give extra oxygen, suction support breaths, just by pressing that. Turns green, and your FiO2, you can see right here, goes to 100%, and there's a timer, and as long as that's pressed, it will give 100% oxygen for 2 minutes. Anytime you want to stop it, just press the O2 button again and it will stop. And when you press that, you'll hear the vent make noise, and that's mixing of the gas. That's all that is. Now, for oxygen sensitive patients that when we're giving extra oxygen to by pressing the oxygen button, if we don't want to give the full 100%, please notify your bedside RT, and they can adjust how much oxygen they give when we press this oxygen button on the vent. Now I want to take just a minute to go over the alarms briefly. So the alarms that we have on this ventilator, there are 4 main alarms. The alarm that we're generally not used to from other ventilators is the tidal volume alarm. So we have a low limit and a high limit. The high limit will alarm a volume limit when there is a large leak around the ET tube. That will cause that to alarm, or when you're suctioning a patient. And the reason is as you're suctioning the patient, it sees that as the patient getting more volume than what they need because of the suction, and it will alarm volume limit. The low tidal volume alarm generally means that there is a leak in the system somewhere, or if you're in pressure control, the patient may need to be suctioned. And then the other alarms are the more common alarms that we're used to. Respiratory rates, we have a high and a low that we set. Expiratory minute volume, we have a high and a low that we set. When they are disconnected for just a little bit, it will start alarming expiratory minute volume limit. But once the patient's reconnected, that generally comes down. And then the low minute ventilation alarm, it can alarm if the patient needs to be suctioned or if there's a leak in the system. And then we have our pressure. So our high pressure on this vent, we've got it set at 30. Of course, that can be adjusted as we need to adjust it. I think most of the time we have it set at around 40. And once they reach the pressure limit, it will alarm pressure limit reached. And generally, if it alarms that, generally the patient, it may be mad, they may be coughing, or most of the time they probably just need to be suctioned. And then we have a low pressure. If it alarms low pressure, generally that means that the patient is either disconnected or there is a leak. Thank you for your time in watching this video. If you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me or Stephanie Durbin. Stephanie has my number and can reach me at any time. Thank you again for watching this video.